Hello, my name's Pauline Barnfather from I Create Craft, and today I'm going to be doing some Zentangle to create a circular pattern. In Zentangle, traditionally we do square patterns, but today we're just going to do something a little bit different. You can Zentangle onto triangle shapes, onto round circles. There's no rules. So I am going to be using a Sakura Micron 0.5mm archival ink pen, and I will have a graphic pencil that's a B1, and I've also got a paper stump or a tortillon here. You can use a cotton bud. That's basically when we come to do some shading. And for pens, you can, use just a cheapy fine liner pen or one of the Stabilo ones. That's a 0.4, and there's no reason why you can't use different colours. You can use gel pens or anything to do Zentangle. There's no rules, as I say. Use what tools you have. So we're going to start, and normally we would begin with dots on four corners and create a border, but because we're doing this circular pattern, we're going to just start somewhere near the middle. So we're just going to take a minute and we're going to just take a breath in and out, and in and out. And we're just going to concentrate on the marks that we're going to make on this piece of card today. And this is a piece of watercolor paper that is 3.5 by 3.5 square. And Zentangle, the original Zentangle creators basically suggest that this is the sort of size that you can use. But again, if you want to use a book and put them in, I've got these little 4 by 4 inch blank books that you can use to just tangle in. It's whatever is comfortable for you. That's the most important thing. So we're going to make sure that our feet are firmly on the ground and our legs aren't crossed. And we'll start with just a little circle, and it doesn't have to be a perfect circle. We're just going to draw circular shape in the middle of our card or somewhere near the middle. And then I'm going to start with a little dot, and then I'm going to come off that dot with just a line, and then somewhere about halfway up I'm just going to make a little, just going to come up a little bit and just make that line a little bit thicker. Okay. And then I'm going to make an aura, which means I'm going to basically shadow that line. And then I'm going to come back up and make a little bit of a thicker line. And you always can rotate the tile when you're doing your tangle. So come back up. And I'm just going to follow that all the way around. And about halfway, just stick it in the line. And this pattern is called pepper. Okay, and it creates like a peppermint idea with the stripes. So we're just going to, and yours is going to look different to mine because you might have wider gaps and your lines may be spaced further apart. Your lines may be thinner, they may be thicker, but it is what it is, and there's no judgment in Zentangle. So you just draw what you draw, and that's what's meant to be on the card. So I'm just going to continue over in that. And there'll come a point where you'll have to start coming back to your border, which is absolutely fine. So just then start oraing from this point now. Until you've done your last line. And you can just go around and check. So if you've got some little dots or lines that you're not happy with, you can just kind of join them up, because sometimes I do lines and they don't go anywhere. They kind of stop before they've even reached the border. So I'll just kind of come in and I can just tidy that up a little bit so that I don't have any lines that kind of stop halfway. So that's my pepper, and as I say, yours is going to look totally different. And you can do it so that, for example here, that you just have a circle in the middle and everything, your little points are radiating off that. Okay, so now I'm going to draw an aura around my shape. And again, I'm going to just move the tile so that I can carry that around my shape like that. Okay. And now I'm going to do a slightly wider border. So coming around with a slightly wider border. Okay, like that. And then I'm going to just have some lines just radiating off that. Got a new pen and it's very juicy. So just have some lines coming off that border like that. And the next pattern we're going to do is called a crescent moon. So I'll just show you. So it looks a bit like this, it's like a little rainbow. And to start with our crescent moon, what we're going to do is on each of these lines, we're going to do a little half moon shape. Okay, so I'm just going to go around and do a little half moon. Now you could have your half moons coming off this border or off that border. You don't have to do exactly the same as what I'm doing. You will make the mark that is comfortable for you. So I'm just going to go around and create this crescent moon. Okay. And then we're going to create an aura for the moon. So there we're going to do a little arc just coming above there. So just an aura of your crescent moon. And just remember to breathe. Just concentrating on that mark that you're making. And now I'm going to do another aura. And it's not a race, so you just do it at your own pace. just gonna go all the way around, creating an aura for our crescent moon. Another one. Now you can keep that going all the way to the end if you want, or you can leave it like that. Okay, so I think I'll do one more. And when we do Zentangle, we always make sure that we never go over the top of a tangle that we've already done. So it's called Hollyba, and we always make it look like we're going underneath. Just making sure I've got the same amount on all of them. Right, and that's me back to the start. And that was crescent moon. Okay, so now I'm going to just do a small border all the way around, like we did before. And again, just breathe and turn your tile and draw as it is the most comfortable for you. Okay, so that's that. And now I'm going to do another wider border. Okay, meeting up there. And it's not perfect. I'm not drawing a circle. It's not perfect. It's just an aura of that inner circle there. So now I'm going to start by drawing a circle that just fills up this space. And as I said, we don't ever go over the top. So we're going to make it look like there's another circle, but it's going to be coming from underneath. So I'm going to just start here and come around and stop before. So I'm just imagining that's where that would finish off. So here's another one. And these are called perk. So I'll just show you. And they can be not circular, they can be squished. So that's what we're doing now. Let's just pop that there so you can see. So as I say, we never go over the top of a tangle that we are doing or have done. So just keep those going all the way around. And you'll have some really big ones and some really small ones, and that's absolutely fine. Just all depends on what size your border was. can always turn your tile. Okay. So now you've done your park. What you're going to do is we're just going to come in and colour in just where the spaces are in between each of our little orbs. Remember to breathe. Okay. So that's our perks done. And now I'm just going to come around and I'm going to do an aura of that circle. So just a very thin line, and we're going to move our tile just keep going round. We're just going to meet up. Okay. And then we're going to do another circle. So you can make it as wide or as thin as you want it to be, but just kind of following the shape that you've created. And everybody's just going to be different. Turning that tile. Okay. And this time we're going to go in a zigzag all the way around, making sure that you touch the top and the bottom border all the way around. Just keep that going, little triangles. Okay, until you meet up with the other side. And this pattern that we're going to create is called Trimond. Okay, and it looks very 3D there. I know we've just done these triangles, but this is what it will look like when we've finished. So what we're going to do is we're going to go around and we're just going to place a dot in our triangles. So it's the triangles that are upright. We're going to pop a dot in the middle. Okay, just turn that towel around, pop a little dot in the middle of each of those triangles. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to go around and we will start. I'm going to start down here. So I'm going to start here and I'm going to draw a line to the right hand corner and draw a line from the left hand corner and then draw a line down to the point. Okay, so you can come from the left, go up to the right and down to the bottom. From the left up to the right, down to the bottom, and it's basically every other triangle as you work your way around. So from the left to the right and down, and you're just going to keep doing that. Remembering to breathe. Okay, and now we'll go back to the start again. So that's our trimond done, and I think I'm going to have just about enough room to do one more, so I'm going to aura that. So each of these patterns that we're creating is known as a tangle. And a tangle is basically a sequence of simple strokes that we're making that then create a pattern. So normally we use a pen when we're doing our tangles. And then when we're doing our borders and things, like in our square patterns here, we usually start with pencil. And then we'll come in with pencil as well for shading at the end. So I've done my aura, and now I'm going to make one more border coming around. Oh, I've got to slightly adjust my shape because I'm very close to the edge of my tile, which is fine. There's no problem with that, just to meet up there. So this is my last little tangle I'm going to do. And this one is called Printemps. Okay, and it's a bit like a cinnamon bun, really. It starts, little whirligig here, and it comes around. Remember, we never go outside of that border, and then it just meets up with itself again. So if I do another one, I'm going to start doing a little whirligig, and then I come around and I meet up with myself. So we're going to go around this border here, and some will be big and some will be very, very small. But I'm going to imagine what they would be like in terms of coming around and joining in again. So that's the holly bow again, where we imagine where it would be underneath and coming back round. So where would it go if it was carrying on, basically? And you can kind of fill in those gaps. I have to get very, very small here. Sorry, I just realised I was off camera there. Apologies for that. Remember, just you can rotate the tile. Okay. And in between the spaces, I'm going to do some tipple. So tipple is just little circles, small orbs, and they can be as big or as little as you want them to be, but we're just going to come in and draw some small orbs just to fill in the space. And as I say, they're not going to be all the same size, and they're all going to be different because you've got different spaces to fill between each of your swirls. So you might just have one or two, and then in others you're going to have quite a few. So just working through, drawing your circles. And you can go to Zentangle.com and find lots of tangles, all different patterns by the originators of Zentangle. Okay, so now I'm going to do some shading. You don't have to do shading, but it does make a difference to your pattern. So what we'll do is we're going to add shades of grey with the graphite pencil, and it really does bring out contrast and dimension to your tile. So I'm going to start with the pepper in the middle, and I'm just going to add a little bit of shading around the outside. And we're not really talking about, you know, which way the light's coming or anything like that. We're shading just to make things sort of pop a little bit more for us. So if I shade around the outside of this, it's going to leave the inner bit lighter so that that kind of pulls you in. Okay. And then on the crescents, I might just shade the inside bits. I've got enough graphite, I think, on my paper stones kind of pop out. And then I'm going to go around each of my little perks, and I'm just going to add a little bit of graphite, because you can always add, but you can't take away once you've put it on. So I'm just going to come around and add a little bit of graphite, and then I will blend that in just to make them pop out. Okay, so then I can come in with my paper stump and just shade one side. So hopefully they will pop. And as I say, you can always add more if it needs to be darkened down a bit. Okay, so then you can really see that they're already popping off the page. Now with the Trimond pyramids, just by shading these, I would say you can pick a side, so you can either shade all of the left or all of the top. So if I shade all of the top, for example, so I'm just going to come in with my pencil and shade all of the top like that, and then just pull that out to blend it. So that's already gonna make it pop out just by doing that one area of shading. Okay. And you can actually get your pen, and you can also colour in one side if you want. So I'm just going to go around and do every other one just so you can see the difference. So we can just colour like that. Just to show you the different ways that you can do this. Okay. And then for my last area, I think I'll just go around and shade in that little aura border that I created, just to really pop out those pyramids. And I have got quite a lot of pencil on my tortillon, but I'm just going to come in and add a little bit more, because I really want that to pop out. Okay. And then I think for the final edge, I'll just go into where my tipple is, do a little bit of shading in the tipple, just to kind of make that stand out. Okay, just going in there. And you can just use your cotton bud in exactly the same way. So just come in and blend out that pencil with your earbud or cotton bud. And again, you see that it's picking up the graphite, and you can just shade that. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll hold it at arm's length. Yep, I think I'm finished with that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to initial it. So find a little spot where you can pop your initials. And it can be on the edge, or it can be just in the tangle itself. So I'm going to just put one in here, PB, in that little tangle there. And then I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to put today's date, which is the 8th of February 2021. Okay, and you can put notes. You could put the tangles that you've done on this, so you could make a little note of each of the different tangles, just so you know what they are. So I could put pepper, and then crescent moon, and then we did perk, and then we did the trimond, and then we did printemps and tipple. Okay. So I hope that that was useful. And as I say, you can do this just with a piece of paper and a normal pen and a pencil. You don't have to have all of the fancy tools. Okay, so thank you for joining me.